confidence is fundamental. It's fundamental, and in this moment everything goes against, and the players they feel it. I think it's time to be a little bit honest and to say clearly the referees are afraid to give decisions for Chelsea.
Stevie, looking at it, how much should Chelsea blame the referee for not winning that game?
I don't, if this makes sense, I don't think they can blame him for not winning the game, but they can certainly blame him for losing it. You know, the two decisions that he made that went against Chelsea are absolutely huge, and no question turned it in Arsenal's favour. Now, the fact that I agree with Frank that Chelsea didn't play well, listen, there's plenty of teams haven't played well and won an FA Cup final. I've done it myself, so yeah, the referee's responsible for them losing. As I said, certainly not them winning it.
So the two key decisions that we're discussing, Ali, is the Kovacic 2 yellow cards and the red, and then the Bellerin foul in the build-up to the Aubameyang winner.
Yeah, and so clearly the Kovacic second yellow should not have been a second yellow. It's just your regular foul. And I think that's when sort of the common sense and management of the game and understanding where we are and what the moment is, and that's when a referee should be very mindful of that. And if you're going to give a second yellow card, then be sure that indeed it is an offense that is worthy of a second yellow card. And so that one clearly I think is a mistake. And then the other one is it's one of those that it's a judgment call. And yes, it's a foul, and more so than anything, you would think, okay, if it was in any other circumstance in the game, it's a foul, it's no problem. I just don't quite understand why then once it's reviewed, then you don't think about it and say, you know, maybe this is something that perhaps we ought to reconsider. But for me, if you look at Chelsea and the overall performance, and while you can point the finger at the referee, and while you can say clearly that these two calls could have and perhaps should have gone in a different direction.
It's an exaggerated problem. It's not really a problem in the English.
Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yes. Yeah. Oh yes, it is. Oh yes, it is. But I don't make campaigns.
So you always think there's a campaign against you?
Yes. Not against me, because I'm not on the pitch. Against Chelsea, yes. Against Chelsea, yes. You know, in the last couple of weeks, do you want me to tell you the two most important things that happened in my matches? In my matches, in my opinion, Felipe Luis and Eden Hazard should be now, or could be now, with broken legs. These are, for me, the two crucial things of my matches in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Felipe Luis and Eden Hazard, they could be in hospital now with broken legs. And you are speaking about Gary Cahill against Hull City with the result 2-0, and you are speaking about West Ham with the result 2-0 should be 5-0. And today, penalty, points, no penalty, no points. But you also forget other things, because Man City Crystal Palace goal is not offside. You don't speak a lot about it. Man United Newcastle 0-0, a penalty, a red card for Mata, no penalty. So you don't speak also about other things.
An eventful evening. Can we start first of all with your view of the result today?
The result, 1-0 for Aston Villa.
What did you feel your performance deserved today?
My performance deserves much more than that.
What did you feel your team's performance deserved, though, over the 90 minutes?
A good performance, a good solid performance against a good team. Defensively, we were really strong. We had no problems to cope with the danger that Aston Villa has. And after that, I prefer not to comment, because I don't want to bring the game into disrepute. I don't want to be accused. I prefer to do what we have to do in football. In football, we have just to let it go and not to comment, because if you comment, you are in trouble, and I don't want to be.
But in terms of how this game panned out in the end, just how big an impact did those two sendings off have?
I prefer not to comment, because it's not. If you want to speak about big decisions, you don't speak just about About the red cards, I prefer really not to speak. If I speak, I am in big trouble. In big trouble, and I don't want to be in big trouble.
Well, there were many incidents in the game as well as the red cards. I mean, in the first half, did you feel that Villa were fortunate to remain with 11 men?
I prefer not to speak. If I speak, I am accused of bringing the game into disrepute, because the referees, they do what they do and they go home, they do and they don't go to the press, they do and they refuse even to change a couple of words when one person like me that is in football for so long asks politely, can you speak with me 5 seconds? No, I don't speak with you 5 seconds. So I have to keep with my position, which compared to a referee position in the game, my position is nothing. And I have to go home and close my mouth.
You clearly attempted to speak to the officials at the end of the game in the tunnel. Was that the substance of the conversation you had with them?
I asked, can you give me just 5 seconds, Mr. Foy? No, that's fine. Okay, I have to accept.
Well, let's turn to this result. I mean, in the end, you are in a title race. How big a setback do you feel this is at this stage?
I prefer not to speak, really. I prefer not to speak. I prefer to say nothing.
Okay. Last question. Do you have any comment to make on the fact that you yourself were sent to the stand at the end of the game?
Again, I asked 5 seconds just to make one simple question, and I had no chance because I was to the stands. I tried to ask one question to Mr. Foy, one question to Mr. Moss, and the question was just one. Is it possible that Agbonaor can leave the bench and goes and grabs my player from behind and from his neck? Is it possible? No yellow card, no red card, nothing. I didn't have the chance to ask the question, and I was sending to the stands.
You have 2 more big games this week. How quickly will you put the events of tonight behind you?
You know, we have to put no other solution. It's difficult to close the mouth. It's very difficult, but I have to do it because I don't want to bring the game into disrepute. I don't want to be in disciplinary problems. I don't want my club to have any more problem. The referee has a good life because now he goes home and he's free of everything. And next Sunday he's in another match, and life goes on. For us, it's like this. I have to go.
Thank you for talking to us.
Half, which is clear, has the one against Southampton was also clear. Is the ones that is difficult to accept, but managers and players, we win and lose. And Mr. Dowd, he didn't lose. But in the end of the day, we are speaking about 2 matches, 6 points. We had 1 out of 6 when 2 crucial decisions would give us 6 points. And in the end of the day, what matters are the points, because the decisions, the normal tendency is for people to forget the decisions.